plastic off first. Where are the dotted lines? Light a microwave, light a microwave, don't cook food anymore. I can see now! So this is my first morning off of the Lazy American Week, and somewhat ironically, I am having for breakfast this cup of tea and 2 Nutri-Grain bars, because I don't have any food in my house right now. So I am calling this week the Lazy American Week, but it also is the Busy American Week. I actually ate like this a lot when I was a grad student. The general premise was that I could not cook my food. I had to eat only convenience food, processed food, prepackaged food, or eat at a restaurant. The rules of this week were as follows. Rule number 1, I was not allowed to use any appliance that was not the microwave oven, the toaster oven, or one burner on the stove just to boil water in a kettle. That was the only thing I could do with the stove. I feel like a glass of fizzy water. What? It's like totally easy to use. Okay, how is this any more difficult than making instant yakisoba? Had those been the only restrictions, I could have cheated and actually cooked a lot of stuff, because if you have a toaster oven, you can bake a lot of stuff. But the other rules and restrictions placed on me, one was that I could not use a cutting board or a chef's knife. No, it's okay, because I'm not using a cutting board and I'm not using a chef's knife. I couldn't use, like, pots and pans and stuff like that. And I also wanted to eat some somewhat healthy items during the week. Gotta eat your greens. Steam in bag broccoli florets that I got from Target. I wanted to get them from the farmer's market, but that's against the rules. An advantage of the Lazy American diet is that you save a lot of time, but not really. You save a lot of time to have a lifestyle to which you are accustomed. I didn't know how to make a lot of these things that I was making throughout the week, these so-called convenience foods, so it took me a while to figure things out. The food shopping trip also took much longer than it usually does, and was a little bit intimidating. I usually return my cart to the front, but I'm being a lazy American. I parked far away so that I'd get some exercise. Well, alright, I just came back from my grocery shopping at Target. Gourmet things like yakisoba, dehydrated. Now, in the spirit of being a lazy American, I did not write a shopping list. I just bought a bunch of stuff. Since a lot of lazy American food is non-perishable, it's okay if you buy too much. Just keep it in your freezer for later. However, because I had no list and because I'm so unfamiliar with the things that a lazy American buys, this shopping trip took me 1 hour. Usually when I do my, fancy schmancy gourmet food shopping trips for cooking, it only takes me a half hour. So I've lost a half hour. Thank you, lazy Americans. Now, I did save some time because I didn't have to wash dishes. I did not wash dishes actually for the entire week. But I did produce much more garbage and recyclables than I normally do, so there's that. In some ways it was a homecoming, because like I said, I did used to eat a lot of these sorts of convenience foods back in high school and college. I used to eat these cup of noodles a lot when I was in high school. This one in particular is big, and the noodles are pre-cut, which I actually don't care for because I really liked that they were nice and long. So I'm going to supplement with some nice almonds. There's no vegetables in it. That's okay, I usually just threw those out anyway because they were dried up and disgusting. Oh, that takes me back. For my first breakfast, I did something nostalgic and I went to the donut place around the corner. I actually walked. Come on, it's only like 1 minute away by car. I'd feel really lazy if I didn't walk. Anyway, I got myself an apple fritter. And guess what I'm drinking with it? and cheese. I feel like a kid again. With it I have orange dried apricots and orange juice. So there are a few things that I noticed about all this convenience food. One, the portions are so fucking small. I mean, like, these Nutri-Grain bars are 120 calories a piece. A lot of the TV dinners, I mean, I mistakenly got Smart Ones, which is actually diet food. But, you know, even just a thing of cup of noodles is like less than 400 calories. A thing of soup is less than 400 calories. Like, you have all these so-called meals that are calorically much smaller than a meal should be. So you end up just eating a lot of meals throughout the day, or a lot of little snacks. I personally don't like that. Campbell's Creamy Tomato Soup, microwavable. Total calories are 340, so I'm gonna supplement with some Target brand Triscuits. I like to be able to feel hungry, eat a delicious, satisfying meal, and then feel full. I don't like this, like, grazing, eat a bunch of tiny meals thing that some people say you're supposed to do, especially if you're a woman. I don't like that. Not that great. Maybe a little extra cream, a little more spices, and then finish it off with some freshly minced basil and a little parm. Fine, at least let me add this. At least I have these. But that brings me to the other benefit of convenience food, and that is that everything is labeled. Like, you know pretty much exactly what you're eating, if you bother to read the labels, that is. It's lunchtime! Time to make one of the most complicated things of this week. I feel like such a failure for using pre-sliced cheese. I mean, what's so hard about just getting out a knife and slicing your own cheese? But unfortunately, I have discovered that it's actually really nice to have pre-sliced cheese because of how uniformly it is sliced in these nice thin slices. The other nice thing about having your cheese pre-sliced is if you're one of those calorie counters, the nutrition information is by the slice, so you know exactly how many calories you're getting. Non-homemade pickles. Ordinarily, I would slice this baby and put the slices on the sandwich. Don't worry, I'm not gonna break the rules. I'll just put it on the side and chomp it as I eat my sandwich. Unfortunately, if you bother to read the labels, you'll see that you're eating a lot of crap that you really shouldn't be eating, including very high amounts of sodium. I drank a lot of water this week because I was genuinely thirsty. Usually, I'm not thirsty. And by the way, everyone, that whole you have to drink 8 glasses of water a day thing, it's bullshit. A lot of factors come into play in how much water you need to drink, including the climate in which you live, exercise frequency, and then the kind of food you eat. If you eat a lot of fresh vegetables that are loaded with water, you don't have to drink as much water. But if you eat, you know, a bunch of Triscuits every day, which hardly have any water in them and have a lot of salt in them, then yeah, you have to drink a lot of fluid. At the KFC drive-thru.
What?
This is like my second time in a drive-thru. All right.
Yeah, what can I get for you?
I have an 8-piece bucket.
Chicken only or meal?
Just chicken.
Okay, original, crispy, or grilled?
Original.
Okay, what else can I get for you?
That's it.
1403?
Okay.
Thank you.
Wow. That wasn't as hard as I thought it would be.
No, it's not.
Though this lane in this drive-thru is really narrow.
You always eat the drumstick first, because it has a handle. Healthy fried chicken.
Sideways. I did consume probably higher amounts of sugar as well, though I tried to stay away from the more sugary convenience foods. But I mean, yogurt, it astounded me. You have this little tiny thing and it hardly fills you, and it's like 180 calories, and a lot of that is sugar. So it's a little bit difficult to be a health-conscious individual if you're going to be a lazy American. Cereal is a huge staple of lazy and busy American diets. I actually am not a really big fan of cereal. I never was, especially the sugary kinds. I don't like how the milk gets all sugary. So I got plain generic Cheerios, or whatever Target calls their generic version. No, and I'm also having a banana to be healthier. Now here's a funny thing. When I hung out with friends throughout the week or spoke with people, they said things like, "Oh God, you really must miss cooking." And the funny thing is, I don't miss cooking. See, here's the thing. I like cooking because of the results that it produces. I really love eating delicious, wholesome food. And pretty much the only way that I can get delicious, wholesome food at any moment of the day that I want it is if I personally prepare it. Or if I happen to be near some restaurant that serves delicious, wholesome food and I feel like shelling out an arm and a leg to eat there. That's pretty much why I like cooking. The other reason that I like cooking is I love bestowing upon other people delicious, wholesome food. I like people eating things that I have cooked and seeing how wonderful it makes them feel, and I like that as well. But if I were like just a line cook at a restaurant and I just cooked food and then it disappeared and then I never saw it again or the results that it produced, I'd be rather miserable. Like, I actually don't really like cooking, just as an act in and of itself. I also think it's important, you know, no matter how much of a food snob you get to be, no matter how health conscious you are, if something tastes good, it tastes good. And there's no shame in admitting that it does and in enjoying it. Even if the only reason it tastes good is just because you enjoyed it when you were 5 years old and didn't know any better, and when you eat it now, it reminds you of that innocent, happy time. A celebratory final feast of Marie Callender's pot pie and steam and bag green beans. I actually kind of like these pot pies. Like, it's one of my favorite, like, foods that I don't cook. Downright decent. So yeah, now I challenge all of you. That's right, you. If you're one of those people who you're looking at this video and the week and the things that I ate and you're like, how's that a challenge? That's like how I normally eat and live. Well, I challenge you folks to now do the opposite of that. Go to the farmer's market, get a bunch of vegetables and fruits, find some recipes, make up your own recipes, cook delicious, wholesome food throughout the entire week, and eat it, that you will be healthier, happier, and you will eat more delicious food. That is my challenge to all of you.